What's going on? Cliff, what's up, man? Glad to see you back. And thank you. I'm just going to give it a little, maybe a minute or two. Then I'm going to talk about pursuing a career working with animals. Tips that I think you will find helpful if that's something you're interested in. And again, it's going to be based on my experience. So take what you need, leave what's not useful. And I'm live on both YouTube and Instagram right now. So if I'm looking back and forth, it's because there's two screens. But anyways, I'm going to just start with my journey, just leading up to the process of working where I work now. And yeah, just so you guys know, I work with more than just reptiles. I work with mammals too, monkeys, big cats, other animals. Just snakes have always been my favorite since I was a kid. And how I found the job that I work at is like I said, always love snakes. And at this facility, there are tons of snakes. And what I did was I reached out to the owner and asked him if he could show me some things with snakes. I had owned some, and at that point, I believe I had maybe 5 snakes, 1 venomous snake. And from there, he said he was hiring. So I applied. What's going on, Josh? Anyways, so said he was hiring. I applied and got the job. From there, at that point, they're not going to just let anyone work with the venomous snakes or certain animals. So I began by doing, like, picking up poop, talking. That's all good, man. I'm just going to go over things that I have learned to give you tips if you want to work with animals. So things to know, because I want to post this on my YouTube as well. But anyway, started working, doing things like picking up poop, keeping an eye on the public, things like that. And from there, the main thing is showing that you have what it takes, that you're willing to do what's necessary in order to move up. Did it notify you, Josh? Or did you just see that I was live? But yeah, showing that you will do what it takes. So I was doing everything that was asked of me. I stayed off my phone. Yeah, Josh, I'm sure it's because I went live like 3 times or 4 times already. stayed off my phone, did what I was supposed to do, and then over time, I asked if I could work with the non-venomous snakes. And from there, he allowed me to work with the non-venomous snakes. So I'd clean out enclosures. I would feed them. And if anything happened that I felt was necessary to share with him, I did. I went and told him right away. I was honest, even if it's something simple like a snake flew out of the enclosure and I had to pick it up and put it back in. I went and told him right away. And then that built trust. And then over time, after doing that for probably close to a year, I asked if I could work with the smaller venomous snakes, asking if I could just using a hook without touching. And again, he said, yeah. So I started doing that, just using a hook. And again, when things happened, I went right away, told him. Like there was one instance where a small Mojave rattlesnake went behind something. I had to tail it. So I put it back in the enclosure and went and told him right away. Again, staying off my phone, doing what I was told without just doing it for the wrong reasons. And went and told him right away, built more trust, showed that I was willing to do what it takes and also being trustworthy. And then, yeah, over time, I was able to do everything. But yes, it takes patience. Working with animals, you have to do or be serious about it and do what you're told, work your way up. You're not going to just start working with them. People expect to just come in, start working with them and doing everything, but that's not how it works. These are potentially deadly animals, and yeah, they can't just let anyone do it. So breaking that trust and being on your phone just to post things, that's going to ruin your chance right away. One of the things when working with the public, that's the downside to me. You'll realize that people talk about loving animals and stuff, but they're disrespectful. They'll throw rocks at the animals, tap on the glass on the snakes, and just ruin your faith in humanity. But there's another side to that. I've convinced and changed many people's views on snakes, even old people that you think are set in their ways, even people that say only good snake's a dead snake. I've converted many of them, and it's all about the approach. You don't just force it on them, and you don't act on emotion. You remain calm, and remember, there's more of a chance to convert somebody by showing them the truth and not lashing out when they're saying stupid stuff. Because I've definitely responded rudely to these people that talk about killing snakes, and it did nothing to benefit the snake. And then another thing with working with animals, especially snakes, you have to practice. Practice with non-venomous snakes. Get comfortable using the hook, making it like a second hand, being able to move the snake where you want it, direct it where you want it to go, just using the hook. Then practice tailing, doing all these things, and just making it like a second hand. So growing up, that's what I did. I practiced even before I had a hook. I've only been bitten maybe 10 times by non-venomous snakes. And that was when I was younger. I haven't been bit since I can't even remember. That's how long it's been. So working with animals without getting bit. Doesn't even matter if it's a snake. The mammals too don't want to deal with a bite. So getting good at hand-eye coordination, being able to tell what's about to happen. These are things that are going to benefit you, and you'll have a successful working relationship with animals. Yeah, Josh. It's probably, like, I'm not even counting the times I've allowed it to happen. So I've allowed it to happen a lot of times to show people that it doesn't hurt. So it's probably more than 10, and probably some of the 10 is including some of those that I allowed to bite. They did. The baby one, I don't know if that one did. The big one definitely did. And that baby in that particular video. The other ones, yeah, they tried to. Yeah, Josh, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just something I did growing up. And now at this point, I want to keep the record low. So it's kind of a mental thing at this point. But that's just something I did growing up. And it's definitely helped me avoid bites with the venomous. Josh, I have a Sidewinder. I don't really post because it doesn't eat much. It's very a very picky eater. But I'll have to show it to you sometime. Right now at 8, I don't want to bother it. I'm sure you've seen pictures of it. Well, when we go find some massive green anacondas in the wild, let one bite you. What's the biggest snake you've been bit by, Josh? How long have I had it? Maybe 2 or 3 months. It was from a... Never mind. Yeah. Hang on one second. Six-foot rat snake, emerald tree boa. What was the snake you had? Was it green tree python? Snake, emerald tree boa. What was it a green tree boa or green tree python that you had? You had an emerald tree boa. What'd you say you got bit by? Oh, that's the one that bit you? Hang on one second. Yeah, you sent me pics of the snake. I don't know if you ever sent me a picture of the bite, if that's what you're referring to. All right, guys, to recap, if you want to pursue a career with snakes or animals, working with animals, what you're going to want to do is be honest, work hard, show that you can be trusted. Don't do stupid stuff. Don't stay on your phone, because you'll realize over time that the majority of people are getting into it just to get pictures and do things like that. Even those that I try to teach only are interested in getting videos and pictures. They say that they're interested in learning about them, but they just want footage. So be aware of that too. And that's why my circle is small. Very few people in the animal world do I talk to, Josh being one of them. Dang, Josh. Yeah, I can't imagine. And they have massive teeth, don't they? But this snake here is a Chinese cobra. Now, I started with the vipers, small vipers. My first was a Mexican cantil. And I believe next was a copperhead. They're both in the same genus. And then I started with a black-tailed rattlesnake. These are small snakes, very simple to move using the hook. And the cobras freaked me out at first. They move a lot more. They're a lot more active, a lot more crazy. They're intimidating. The hissing, the hooting. But now, they're the ones I love handling the most. They're the most simple, in my opinion. Jeez, Josh. It's crazy. Yeah, blacktails are great. And the first cobra I worked with was a 5-foot long Indian cobra. And that was, I feel like I got myself in a little too deep because I wasn't ready for it. But it worked out. I was smart with it and everything was fine. But I also knew my limits. That's another thing. Know your limits. Don't push boundaries. And I had to return it to the person that I was lending it from. Right now I have about 20 and I work with over 100. And now some tips for working with snakes and knowing their behavior. So some things are, you can see that this snake's very calm. Yeah, and it was a massive one, Josh. This snake's calm, but that doesn't mean it's going to always be calm. So if I take it inside or outside for videos or pictures in a new location, that can cause them to go in defense mode and act completely different. Another thing is when you're cleaning the enclosures and you put the snake in what's going on, man? How are you? When you put the snake in the cleaning container and when you're opening it up to get the snake out, you're looking down at the snake. That's something the predator does. That's going to cause a defensive reaction. These are things to be aware of. What do their predators do? They stand over top of them looking down at them. Another thing, eye contact. If you notice, and a lot of people mention this, saying I need to keep my eye on the snake. Well, I'm always watching from my peripherals. And then again, the eye contact can cause defensive behavior, staring right at them. But yes, all these things, they also need to come natural. Yeah, what Josh said, which is cobras, vipers react very different. Cobras are very visual, while vipers mainly rely on heat. Nice. Corn snake was my first ever snake. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, and as Josh said, with feeding, with his Western hognose, won't eat if he's keeping eye contact with it. Thank you. But what are some other things? I mentioned taking them in a new location, eye contact, looking down on them. Some other things are the way you act. If you act crazy, they're gonna be afraid every time they're around you. That's why I really get bothered by the people that tease their snakes, wiggling their knees, wiggling their head. And a lot of them talk about that they do that to free handle. But if you have to do that to keep focus, because it can be done without all that nonsense. That's just teasing. Some other things are knowing how to react. If the snake's climbing back on its body and you start panicking, the snake's going to start panicking. So if it does, it has to come natural, the movements, and then sometimes you're going to have to let go of the tail and let the snake drop. Oh yeah, so Josh mentioned that there's a study that shows snakes react on how you feel. So being confident is key. If you're nervous and twitchy, they'll react differently. Working with the public, I get to see these differences. So there's a ball python at work that we call bomb proof. You can do anything to it and it will not bite. You can literally eat it alive and it wouldn't bite you. But when you're handing the snake to someone, you can feel sometimes when people touch it, the snake react. So like Josh mentioned, your energy, your confidence, all these come into play. And that's good. I'm glad you brought that up, Josh. There's these massive canebrake rattlesnakes that are like 6 feet long at my work. They're super defensive, these particular ones. And I expect them to strike because that's what they've done. Now, every time I try to clean out their enclosure, they're striking. They're very defensive. But when my boss does it, they're pretty laid back. That's because he's not expecting that. And like I am. And it's definitely my behavior. I'm a little bit more nervous and on edge when I'm working with them, and they're responding to that. See, this cobra backs up a lot off the hook. Good for practice. Roundup rodeo. You have some rattlesnakes, don't you? Hang on a second, Josh. I'm going to put the snake away to read what you said. Oh, yeah, Josh. At least it bit you, not them. All right, another thing that I want to mention. Maybe it'll help somebody, but I have ADHD, so that's why my focus is all like hard to stay on track. That's becomes a problem when I'm trying to film these videos. It takes me about 30 minutes to get a 10-second clip. So that's why I want to recap right now. Working with animals. Be honest. Show that you're willing to do what it takes. Don't be on your phone the whole time. Be honest. I already said that. Be honest with, like I said, with my boss. Was honest, and then I worked my way up. Also, it doesn't help that every time someone joins that I could see it, ruins my train of thought. But yeah, get into it for the right reason. If you're serious about it, do the right things, work your way up. Another main thing that I didn't mention is be respectful to each other. I don't even care if other people in the industry are disrespectful to you. Be respectful. We need to, first of all, come together, because we're going to be the downfall of this hobby more than anything else. I don't care what people say about free handling, all this other stuff. When we attack each other, that's going to cause the most problems. And when you go to the, can't think of the word right now, I'm just going to describe it, the public little hearings when they're trying to pass laws, and you see how the people that are supposed to be on the same side, how they treat each other, and you see the effect it has. Go to one of those public, can't think of the word, but yeah, public, where you can voice your opinion and watch how it actually affects the hobby when we're attacking each other. Yeah, so Josh said, also in handling, you always have to pay attention. Snakes strike faster than you can blink. Being aware of every twitch. So you can feel in their body. They have very subtle signs. You can feel it in their body, the tenseness. You can see their tongue flick, the difference in tongue flick. Slight head movements. These are things that you pick up on, or you don't, and then you fail miserably. And then with the snakes, recap. Snake can be good, very docile, and where you work with it, where it lives, you can take it to a different location. It can act like a psychopath. So these are things to be aware of. Another thing, when working with them, you put them in a container to clean their enclosure. And when you open the container, you're looking down on it. That's what their predator does. It's going to elicit a defensive response. These are things to be aware of. Also, quit teasing the snakes, wiggling your knee, doing things like that. That can ruin them for good. They can also start out good and become more defensive over time, just in their personality. They can start off very defensive and calm down over time. And I know people talk about regular handling. There's, like I said, some personalities are just set in stone. So the monocle cobra that I have, I can handle her once every 10 years and she'll be the same. Once every year, be the same. What else, Josh? What else do you think I should mention? And finding a mentor. The people always say that no one's willing to do it. Well, there are some people that are, but the reason for that is because of some things I mentioned earlier. People in it for the wrong reason, coming just to try to handle snakes and not really, well, they might want to learn, but they're more interested in posting videos and pictures. So these are things that come into play when finding a mentor. And that's why a lot of people refuse, because they experience that time and time again. Even now, I only help people that I know personally. And even then, a lot of them have manipulated and got in just so they can handle them. And then they're only worried about posting pictures and videos. It is what it is, and I understand why, but it's disappointing because it shows that the willingness to learn. If it's more important to take pictures and stuff, more so than actually learning so you can work with them and live out a passion, that's gonna, the people that are going to train you are not going to be interested in training you anymore. So yeah, Josh mentioned the signs. In my experience, these signs from gaboon viper especially, very subtle, but they are there. Also, what else? I was thinking about something. With the big vipers. And Josh, those 6-foot cane brakes I'm talking about. The thing with them is when the rattlesnakes, big vipers, they coil up, it pulls everything together. So that's why it's a lot more difficult. That's why I get even nervous around those defensive ones, because everything coils up. They bring everything close. And that's when you have to know when to let go of the tail, use 2 hooks. With those cane brakes, I use 2 hooks. I don't even bother with tailing. And even then, they fall off the hook. Hey, man, how's it going? How are you and the fam doing? But yeah, those cane brakes, they fall off the hook. And at work, it's not like when I'm at home. It's like if someone was here that, like Josh, if Josh was here taking care of my stuff, I'm sure he's going to act a lot more responsible than if he was at home. So when these big, massive cane brakes fall on the ground, I have to do what's the right thing at the right moment, because I don't want something to happen and now my boss feels responsible or anything like that. Did you guys have a good Thanksgiving? All right, Jeremy, which one do you want to see? A bigger one or a smaller one? I'll just bring out the smaller one, or a bigger one, since I had the smaller one out. Hang on 1 second. Actually, give me 1 second. Ryan, I'm doing good, man. I'm married now. Monocle Cobra. Are you still in here, Jeremy? And actually, another thing I thought about that I should mention is being in the right mindset. So if you had something bad happen that day, it's best not to work with the snakes. I've done it. I've done it during bad times, and I make many mistakes during those times. And it's always something you got to be aware of. Be honest with yourself. How are you feeling? If you're not focused, that's when mistakes happen. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, she's the best. She's kind of heavy now. So let me stand up. Thanks, Jeremy. And a lot of these other, I watch some other people on YouTube, and it does disappoint me to see the teasing. And it also disappoints me to see that they're using certain behaviors to make it look crazier, because in my opinion, that's going to reinforce the fear that people have. But I do understand that's what sells. If you watch Steve Irwin, watch his earlier stuff before he was famous, and look how calm and how he showed them very calm and talked very nice about them. He still talked nice later on, but you can see that he used words like super aggressive when it's trying to get away. And that's because in that industry, that's what sells. It's just the reality of it. My boss was followed around for a year for TV show, and they wanted him to play into that fear, and he wouldn't do it. He showed the truth, and they never aired it. But he has been on some of the TV shows. He's worked with Steve Irwin. He's worked with Brady Barr. But yes, these are things that it's disappointing. Even the documentaries on animals, watch when the snake comes on. They literally play dark music. Oh, the snake. But the truth is, they're just the best. They're defensive animals. They don't start fights. They do everything to avoid fights. And yet we make them out to be some evil killer. And that's what I want to do with my page. Not only bring the community together, but also show the truth. And I'll be honest, I have been posting some videos that I thought I'd never post, like the striking and stuff, because it's been bringing in the viewers. But once I have consistent views, I want to continue my education and showing the truth. But it sucks that the stuff that gets the views and follows are the things that make them look worse. Yeah, Jeremy, ask as many questions as you want. Yeah, Ryan, she's massive. I love her. No, Jeremy, there's only a few places that. Hey, Ryan, thanks for joining, man. It was nice talking with you. Tell the family I said hey, and I hope you have a good night. Jeremy, there's a few places that do that, and it's stressful on the animal. It's not something I'm interested in. In fact, I just don't like seeing the snakes that stressed, but it's necessary. But yeah, there's only a few places that are allowed to do that, and opening new places, I'm sure, would be a big pain since they already have facilities that do that. So no, I don't milk the snakes. And what I mean by that is, if I grab this snake behind the head, you'll see a completely different snake, a snake that fears for its life. She's great. I'm guessing you meant King Cobra, but autocorrect probably said King Carlos. Yeah, snakes know how much venom to inject to. They know how much venom to inject to subdue their prey. You're talking about for extraction, Josh? Are you saying that they don't need to be pinned for extraction? I think that they could maybe find another way, but I don't know. I like to avoid that topic because I don't want to get in a heated debate. Personally, I don't like seeing them pinned, but yeah, I'm saving lives. And then why is it? Actually, I'm not going to go there. I want to be able to post this video, so I need to refrain from saying some things. Z Toxin, what's up, man? How's it going, brother? Yeah, this is the first time I've streamed live on YouTube. So I will probably continue to do it and get better at it. I'm also streaming on Instagram. That's where most of the people are talking. Hello. And thanks for joining, man. I appreciate that. I'm glad to see you in here. Love your videos. And some of your rattlesnakes just gave birth, didn't they? Michaela. Well, the best thing, Jeremy, would be to find a king snake that has a good temperament. And then just handle it normally. But if you have one that's pretty psychotic, it's good practice. Practice not getting bit. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think I saw a picture or video this morning. Beautiful. Favorite non-venomous snake? Probably, Yeah, do that, man. That's hard. Growing up, it was a green anaconda. Right now, it might be, you know what? It might be an indigo snake. That's probably what it would be. Unless there's one I'm not thinking of right now. But yeah, it used to be green anaconda. Right now, indigo snake. My favorite non-venomous. What about you, Michaela? Yeah, Josh, that'd be awesome. I hope you do find one. They're great. People hate on ball pythons, but they're ridiculous. They literally convert so many people into loving snakes. And even if they don't love them, they've converted so many people to just appreciate them and respect them. And that to me is the most important thing. It depends where you live, Jeremy. But yeah, let me end this. I might end it on both. That's awesome. That'll be really cool. But again, for those that are new that joined an Instagram, since no one, I think only 2 people joined my YouTube one, but yeah, here's my ADHD. Let me recap. If you want to work with animals, be honest, pursue it. You can accomplish any goal if you set your mind to it. Be honest though, and actually put the effort in, and do what you're told. Work your way up. Don't just get into it so you can take videos and pictures. And yeah, you'll move your way on up. I think I'm going to upload this one on YouTube, Michaela, but I'm all over the place. My mind, I can't focus well. And I jump back and forth 100 times. I recapped 100 times. But I think there's some useful information. But yes, just pursue your passion. Do it for the right reason. And the main thing, everyone in here that is here right now, the main thing is be kind to each other. Quit causing separation. We're going to be the end of us if we continue to attack each other and fight each other. Be nice to those trying to learn. Don't bash those that are asking questions. People are trying to learn. And yeah, that's the main thing. Be kind to each other and stop causing the separation. Another thing, remember, it's about teaching people about them. So when people say stupid stuff online, it's different. It's so hard to convert people. So it's better in person. And I'm grateful I'm able to in person. But it's about teaching people to respect these animals so they don't have to be slaughtered for no reason. And to do that, it's about the approach, how you approach. So if you're in person, the right approach, not forcing it on people, but just showing them and talking is the number one way to get people to ease up around snakes. Online, the best you can do is just respond or online and in person. Don't respond out of emotion. It's so easy to just snap when people talk about killing these animals. But being kind and responding respectfully is more likely to get people to want to learn about them and change their views on them. But yeah, I love you guys. So I think I'm going to end it here so I can clean enclosures. And yeah, Michaela, I agree. Get much farther with love than hate and with understanding and compassion. That's the main message I always want to convey to those that watch. But yeah, I think I'm going to end it here. Thank you to those that joined. I appreciate each one of you. Thanks, Jeremy, for asking questions. Thanks, Josh, for helping me expand on things and bringing up other topics. Michaela, thanks for always being supportive. And Z Toxin, let me see what you had said. You might be gone now, but I appreciate you stopping by. Have fun cleaning. I'm about to do the same. But yes, everyone, have a good night. Love you all.